Let us now continue our discussion. In the previous video, we integrated the yes button and no button within our alert dialog. Now how do we handle the event when the user click on this button or the user click on this button? So for that, we have to modify our current code. Now here we are using alert dialog.show that simply shows the dialog. So the JavaFX platform has provided one more method known as show and wait method. Now this method, what it do, it simply waits for the result, and the result will be the click event of these two buttons. So this method will simply return which button is actually clicked, and based on that we can then perform our custom action or execute our own custom code. Now if you notice, this method simply returns a class of optional. So firstly, on the left hand side, let us use our class of optional of the type of button type, and then here I will use clicked button equal to alert dialog.show and wait, and let us import this class. Alt plus enter, import the class, right? Now here what this optional class stands for. Now if you remember, in our previous topic we talked about the lambda expression that came into picture with Java 8. Now with the release of Java 8, there was a class of optional that was also released. Now this optional class is just a container. This is an object that will contain another object. Like suppose here we are writing button type space yes button. So this yes button is a reference variable of the type of button type. Similarly, here as well, the clicked button is indirectly pointing to this button type reference variable. Just we have another quoting here of optional class. So this optional class is just a container that will contain the object of the button type, right? So the show and wait method will simply return which button was clicked, and that button will be present within the optional class. Now soon after this, what we can do, let us use if clicked button dot get. So from within this object of optional, we are extracting out the button. Now if the button clicked was actually yes button, then let us write our code here. And in case if the button clicked dot get was no button, then let us write our code here. Now we can write any code that we want to, but currently since we are just exploring, let us write a simple print statement. Yes button clicked, similarly s out no button clicked, like this. And now here it is showing some warning that optional.get without is present might actually result into some error. So just before this, let us check out whether this optional container contains any valid object of button type or not. So for that, let us use clicked button dot is present, and then use the logical AND operator, right? And now our code is more safer to use. And then here again use clicked button dot is present, use logical AND operator, like this. Let us now launch our application. And let us click on yes, and there we go, yes button was clicked. So our custom code is working perfectly fine. Let us click on no, and there we go, no button was clicked. Fine. And since we have just two buttons, so we can also do one thing. We can use the else part here. So if the yes button was not clicked, then definitely the no button was clicked. So we can now put our code within the else part, like this, and now we can remove it from here. So this portion will be for the yes button, and this portion will be for the no button, right? Now let me summarize what we have done so far in this topic. We have written our code for the alert dialog, and here we are setting the title, header text, and also the description. And since we wanted our own custom button, so we have defined our yes button and no button. And then adding these two buttons within our alert dialog here. And then we also wanted to perform some action when the user press on yes button and no button. So for that we used alert dialog.show and wait, which in turn will give you which button was actually clicked by the user. And on click of that button, we are performing some operation here and here. So this was a very short topic on alert dialog. So coming up next, we will check out what are controllers in JavaFX.